Hello again, and now today we'll start with in this part 3 we'll start with Django Admin. Again, you can access all of these tutorials at djangoproject.com. The link will be shared with you. So introducing Django Admin. The Django Admin is a very nice fancy UI for editing the models, etc. And it comes off the box, very easy to set up like I'll show you. So we can create a user using python manage.py create super user, which will do from the terminal. Paste your command, which is python manage.py create super user, and he will have access to everything on the site. So this is something that you need to create to at least log in once. So for me, I will create the user as user. Let's say we'll call him admin and admin at admin.com. Password is also admin. You can create your own password. It says that password is too small, but I will keep it because this is just going to stay in my local. So once I create this, go back and you see that password is created. Now we run the server using python manage.py run server, enter. Let's wait for a while for the server to come up. Once that is done, we should be able to see something like this when we click on /admin. That is because if you go here, open the My Site and see your URLs, you have these URLs that are inserted. This comes with Django, so you don't have to write anything. So whenever you do /admin/, you should be able to load the URLs. Let's open this, click on it. So you see that there is no path, but if you type /admin, enter, you have the admin URL here opening up. So let's type admin and password is also admin, login. So you see that we have a layout like this. I'm going to zoom out a little. So you have a layout like this. You have groups and users where you can see that there are not many users and only admin who has staff permission. So now what you can do is go back to the project, see here what is the next step to be done. So they say that make the poll app modifiable in the admin, meaning your models should be able to edit in the admin. For that, copy this, go to your project, in your polls app, click your admin.py and paste this code here. So what happens is from this point onwards, your question model should be able to modify here. Now we will go here. Now this particular server will auto reload, so you don't have to do anything. Go to the site, reload your site, and you see that questions has appeared. Open it. You see the question we added from the terminal that comes up here. You can change this, you can change this, and all of this. And after that, let's go here and go to the part 3, where you will have some details about writing some views, which you can do here. One is to show the details of that particular question given the question ID. One is to show the results of that question. One is to vote for that question. So what you do is copy these and paste it in your views. Paste it here after the command and it should be good. Now we also need to change a few things, that is the URLs. You're right. So copy the URLs, go back to your page, go to the URLs inside the polls and paste it here. So this will add the functionality of, let's say, viewing the details, viewing the results, and voting. So you can do that, and once you do that, you can also add a different index. Let's see what all these things can do, where you go to views, modify it, and show this. Paste it here. So essentially what this is doing it, let us import that module, which is not showing here. So now come here, paste the mod questions. So it's going to bring all the questions and just the 5 top questions. It's going to output and it's going to show that, right? And once that is done, let's talk about something that is called as index.html. So here, instead of just showing it as a simple response, which if you go here and let's say reload it now, you see that it showed a question. That was the question that we added earlier. Now instead of that, you can create HTMLs, and this is the path you should follow. Create a folder template, create something called as polls, and inside that index.html. Let me show you. Go here, inside your polls app, create a folder called templates, and inside your templates, create another folder called as polls, because that is your app name, and inside that you create a file called as index.html. Now this is a template file, and this is what you're going to edit. If you see here, I copied this template file, I pasted it here, and these tags that you see here, the special tags, these are not HTML. These are called Django templates, and these will let you pass some parameter from the views to the templates and do some modification. Let's go here. If you see now, we'll copy this part again and we'll change our views.py. We'll add this. So essentially, we know that the template, what is the template, which you can load from get template, and it is in this path. And this context that we are passing, latest question list, that will, you can use it, latest question list, to iterate just like you iterate anywhere using the for loop, and it will display. Let's see if it can display it here. If you reload, do you see this displaying? And then it is also a clickable link. So that way you can modify things, and you can use render as well instead of using the way we used it. You can copy this part, go to your views, change your index to use render instead of using um, the way it's using right now. I'm just going to move this on top. So from shortcuts is going to you do render and things like that. So now it will do the same thing but using render. Do you see this? And once again, if there are errors, you can see that you can raise a HTTP4 error, and that also we can again do that. And you can access a variable using 2 flower brackets like this in your templates. So you can create a detail.html. I'll show you right now. Go to polls, go to templates, polls, inside this create details.html, and in that you can access the question like this, but you can pass the question like so, basically using a render. Go to your views and change your details views, where instead of sending a HTTP, you are sending it through the question. It's throwing an error here because you have not imported these things. So go there and import that. Also, we'll add if there's any other thing. So in the detail.html, you can access the question properly. So we'll change the details.html. Instead of just showing the question, we'll format it in H1, and then we'll show the choices for that. So there are many other steps that you can follow, which are there in this Django tutorial. And this is the basic tutorial that I've showed you. This is not defined. We can go back to views. We can see wherever that is defined, it shows that question get object 404 is not defined. Maybe it's not loaded yet. So you can close the server if that happens. run the server again, and see if at all things work out. Sometimes the import doesn't automatically load, so you have to run the server again. Let's wait for the server to come up. Once the server is up, you can go here, you can reload your app. Now you see that there is a different error, which is template does not exist. So this is the debugging console that you see here, which has all the settings and the traceback. In the traceback, you see that okay, this particular uh, line is throwing an error and saying that detail.html doesn't exist. That is because our name is details. So what we'll do is we'll make it detail.html, come back here, reload it. Now you see that this is a new question, right? So you can follow the follow the steps here. There are many other things that are there, like namespacing the URL names. For example, accessing how to access the URL. And let me see. This is where your URL patterns are. So this is the name, you can use it. And this is the different type of IDs that you can take from your URLs. So if we go back and go to the URLs, that is what you're using here. And there are many different things. You can go to move to chapter part 4, and there are forms that you can create where you can submit actions, etc., which you can explore. And also for voting, you can create voting like this. And once you vote, you should be able to get the response as well using polls, 3 results, etc. So I will leave you this exercise to be done. You have to follow these steps and show the screenshot of a running app like this with some functionality that you can do from here. So that's everything to run a Django app. It is not difficult, it is fairly easy. I'm going to explain the steps again. So first thing is you're going to start an app using, first you're going to start a project, which is start Django Admin, start project, and whatever name you want to give. Then you're going to start an app, start app, name the name of the polls, and then each time you have to run the server. Your folder structure will be like this with your app. Your manage.py is the main part. So you always navigate to manage.py, Python manage.py run server. You go there. In your polls app, you can modify many different things. Views is where all your functionality will be lying. You create templates, and this is where your HTML will be lying. You have admin, where you can register your admin. You have models, where your database stuff is here. And you have URLs, where all your path will be there. And you will also have your main settings here, where all your settings files resides. And you also have your main URLs file where you show the proper URL path. So I hope you will be able to run a good project and start a Django app. It's as simple as this, and good luck, guys.